How are we going, everybody? Today's freezing. After a couple of warm days that we had, sunny days and blowy, you know, the trees were struggling to keep their flowers on from the high winds. Yesterday we got bombarded with rain, so we had about 35-40 mil of rain within 2 hours, and today it's only sitting about 12 degrees. So from 26, 13, 12 degrees, and I reckon, well, it's saying 12, but I reckon it's more like about 8 or 7 out here. It's still got a strong chill factor in the wind. Now, I've come out here to have a look at the roses. About 3 weeks ago, we pruned them. We had the arch roses. This one here in particular, we've got about 4 or 5 of them on the property. Now, they were completely out of shape, outgrown, out of shape, grown out of control, leading over, really messy. So I cut them back, and I was talking about creating nice leaders. Unlike your typical standard roses or bush roses, where you create that sort of vase shape, so that's structural integrity, these we've got long leaders. And what I do with them is cut them right back on the long leader to 1 or 2 buds. And then springtime, as you can see here, they start to burst out. Now, I've come to have a look and see how they're progressing, because you need to monitor them, because sometimes you may get shoots coming out of areas where you don't want it to grow from. For example, we've got, and it's not a bad thing at the moment, we've got a couple of shoots coming out on this side, about to burst out. You can see that's already taken off there. Now, my hope is that they don't grow out too far. If they do, it means you haven't got enough potash in the soil. I like to use wood ash and black grit, so we can contain the flowers in place, or produce more flowers rather than shoots and leaves. But so far, they're doing really well. Just a little bit more tying up. Have a look at that. See, it's leaning over a little bit, just tie it up there. And that now will progress and develop all the way through. So my aim is to get it on the other side. Now, you can't grow a rose downhill. It's got a tendency to curl back up. So I need to eventually, is there one here? No, there isn't one here. I've got to plant one on this side so they can meet up on both sides, or meet up at the top. And they'll sort of reach over 2/3 of the way before they start to curl over. That's fine. As long as I've got one on either side, it'll be good. Now, I can't remember what colour flower this is. I dare say it's something like a double delight. Sort of a pinky, creamy, white centre on it. But we'll just sit back and wait for it to come. The aim is to get flowers all nice and close to the leader. This one's doing pretty well. Let's go check out the other one. The weeping cherry needs a bit of work. I've got to graft it on the other side. It's all on the one side at the moment. We'll get to that one too, like everything else. Have a look at this one here. This one was a mess. We had branches all over the place. It was just completely out of control. Now, I did leave a couple of extra ones here that are going to take over. And look, it's alive, it's beautiful. Look how clean the leaves are. We've got plenty of airflow through there. It doesn't matter if it's getting wet with all the heavy rain or not. It's got plenty of airflow, and it's nice and healthy. A little bit of black grit that we put around the base, that's all it needs. And this side here as well, it's taken off. It's gone off crazy already. One warm day and a lot of rain. It's all soaked in beautifully. Obviously this one here to me looks like, I didn't plant it by the way, this one here looks to me like a bush rose rather than a climbing rose. Well, it could be a climbing rose, but anyway, we'll see what happens if we can train it. Standard rose, look at the difference. See the different shape in cutting? We're not having one single leader. We've got multiple little branches there. Maybe I've got to take this little one in the middle of here out of here, because it's starting to thicken out too much already, but nice and healthy. That's what you need to do with your roses. It's got to have the aeration inside so it can actually breathe well. Sorry, look at this. I picked a couple of little lemons here. It's the first off the little lemon tree. Now, it's dropped a few leaves because of the cold weather, but it'll come good. But back to the rose, thin them out. If you haven't done so, the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to be for the plant. Get into it, cut it back, thin it out. If you have a lot of disease developing on your roses from previous years, it means your soil life is really poor. You've got bad soil quality, not enough good bacteria developing in it, bad airflow. So aerate the soil, compost it, add your manures, add all the favourite liquid fertilisers you have, preferably our ones, obviously, but whatever you put in it, make sure it's nice and clean. No chemicals. You know, I can't stress it enough. And I sound like a broken record when I talk about fertilizers and insecticides and things like that. Whatever you put in your soil, expect it to have a detrimental effect. If it's a bad product, it's going to affect your soil. If it's a good product, it's going to make it better for you. So whatever you add in it, the results will be depending on what you add into it. And, you know, I can't stress it enough. The synthetic stuff, short term, may give you a great, look, I lost my lemon. Short term, it may give you a great result, you know, thinking it's a short term fix, but the long term, it's irreparable almost. So if you're constantly using it and, you know, exposing your soil to toxic chemicals, be it all a fertilizer, don't expect it to be good for too much longer. Have a look at that, eh? Spring is in the air, folks. Look at the English box. It looks great, doesn't it, huh? I'm glad you like what it looks like. Somebody's got a bloody pruner, you know that? That somebody's me and my son. And this one here, folks, it was just superb. It was a superb arch, but it had overgrown itself. It really got out of control, so I cut it right back, and you can see already it's bouncing back beautifully. So we've got some really good growth on this coming along, and I'm hoping to replace the old one, this one here, with some of the new ones, but they still need to develop a bit more. They're still too young for me to cut the old one out there, but you know, the new growth is on there. We'll get a few flowers on it this season, and then maybe next season we'll cut it out next winter. In the meantime, we'll keep developing on it. So look after your plants like that. Pruning, the first point of reference when it comes to looking after your garden. How did that happen? Please tell me she jumped over the top. Oh, I'm hearing a noise. Can you get out of there now? First point of reference when it comes to looking after your garden is to prune. Always go in there and clean out the dead, disease and damaged wood. Any leaves that are starting to be eaten away, if they've got any disease on them as well. Don't expect to be able to repair anything if it's already damaged. It's not going to come good. The leaf eventually will fall off, or that part of that branch is dying off is going to continue dying off down to the center of the plant, whether it's a shrub or a tree. So make sure you prune it off and then go to your nearest insecticide and keep it natural, folks. Always keep it natural, because the more chemicals you put into it, the worse it's going to be long term. So always use something natural in your garden, and always, and I can't stress it enough, always prune first before you just fertilize, spray insecticide, fungicide, or whatever else you think you can put into the garden. So put the labor intensive work into it and reap the benefits at the end of the day. It is the weekend, Sunday. It's Happy Father's Day, and I apologize, I didn't start off with a Happy Father's Day to everybody. I should go back to bed now and wait for my breakfast to be served to me by my kids and my darling wife. I don't think so. Tune into the radio, because if you're watching this as it's just been uploaded, I'll be talking on radio with Darren, that is 3AW, Darren James, Gardening Talk this weekend. Give us a call. Say hello, Happy Father's Day, and all your lovely gardening questions, and enjoy some great discounts we have on our weekend. Up to 70% off everything. Use the coupon code SPRING and get an extra 20% off the price. And Fruition citrus gall wasp traps are selling out really fast. We only had 300 available. I think there's less than 100 by the time you watch this. So if you're wanting to get one, get online now before they sell out. From me, Vasily Maresi, that's vasilisgarden.com.